We're good. Live on Facebook.
We are good. We are live, folks. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Bassin Magazine podcast. My name is Jay. Bassin Magazine, guys, the official magazine of the Weekend Angler. With us tonight, we have Brad from Bassin Magazine, and other than Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Luke Palmer from Oklahoma. How are you doing tonight, Luke?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
And where are you from in Oklahoma?
Yeah. I'm actually at the southeastern part. I don't know. I'm Colgate's my hometown. It's a little small town. I'm kind of in between McAllister, Ada, Atoka. That kind of gives people a little bit better central location. I'm an hour north of Texoma Lake. So
Jay, Luke,
yes.
Luke knows Big Bass Chuck Justice.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Two thumbs up to Chuck Justice, man. The guy with 200 10-plus pounders. And that's just from the state of Oklahoma. It doesn't count the 10-pounders he's pulled out of Fork.
Right. Yeah, Luke, we had Chuck on, and I think, Jay, was that our biggest podcast?
Yes, it was.
The people just, I mean, come on, you caught 210 pounders out of Oklahoma. That's pretty awesome. So
that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah.
I just want one.
Yeah.
Just one. That's all I ask.
Hey, Chuck's the guy. I'm sure you've been. Have you caught a double digit out of McGee?
No, actually, I don't fish McGee a whole lot. I used to a little bit.
Yeah.
Since there's not any tournaments there really that I've fished, I've strictly Texoma, Eufaula. I've caught some, 8s and 9s Sardis. He's fished Sardis quite a bit.
Yeah.
I used to fish it some, but it seems like the Texoma Eufaula has been my two places I've been the most in the last 15, 18 years,
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been fishing the Elite Series, Luke?
This is year 4 for me, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Awesome.
So tell us, first tournament of the year, you were down in Florida. What lake were you on in Florida?
We were on the St. Johns River down in Palatka, Florida.
How much fun was that?
We had some. It was quite a tournament. I mean, ended up taking some big weight. It always does. It was. I think if we kind of hit a cold front spell right in there, we were down there, which is normal. Every time you go to Florida, you can't ever get beautiful 95-degree weather. But it was like it got cool. Like for some reason, I'm thinking it got down to 30s a few nights. Like it was
Florida. Memphis should be in shock, huh?
Oh yeah. Right. So was everybody else.
Yeah.
So all the Floridians. The Floridians are dying. Yeah.
They did not like that at all. So it was definitely an interesting deal. So it was, but it's we kind of talk. I've actually kind of got to use my same setup from the time we started this year till now. And that's
really,
and that's kind of, that never happens. Normally it's so much different, things you're going to do. And I've been able to, beside the classic, I had to change up a little bit there, go with some light line stuff. But everywhere in that, I've been heading with 18 to 20-pound sunline shooter all the way up to 65 or 60-pound FX2 braid. So I've got to do what I like to do.
So what is it you like to do?
I love to flip.
Okay.
Flipping and pitching. That's probably what I've won 90% of my money on from when I started fishing. That is just something I enjoy doing. Oklahoma, we normally find something to go flip, or it's lay downs, or heck, we even flip rocks if we have to.
I flipped rocks. I flipped a lot of rocks.
Oh yeah. So I've got to put, like I said, I've got to put a Falcon, a Cara Falcon Amistad in my hand, which has been one of my favorite rods forever. And get to go hit them. That's because I've got to hit them a lot this year with it, and it's been fun. That's
Let's
enjoyment.
talk about the reel you're using with that.
Actually, I use a high-speed reel, something with 30 inches per turn, whether I've got Lewis to Iowa. I mean, I've got several different ones that I've been using, and it's 30, 33 inches per turn is what I like, because I want to be making as many flips, once the bait's in the water, obviously you're going to be able to move it around a little bit slower. But as far as turning in between flips and, next ones and stuff like that, I want that bait in my hand as quick as I can get it in that higher speed reel.
Sure.
Plus, a fish, you hit them in shallow water, they're not just going to sit there. They're coming out. So you're going to have to catch up to a lot of them. So that's another reason using a high speed reel too.
I ask this question to most of the guys I have on here who talk about flipping or jigging. So one of the problems I had as when I first started flipping is I could not hold on to a fish. I'd get the bite, set the hook, try to cross his eyes. I feel him, head shake, he's gone. How do you avoid that as a guy who can't afford to lose fish?
Hope and pray sometimes.
Hope and pray. Okay.
No, I've kind of changed up. Everybody's different. Their hook choice. I've actually went to a straight shank hook for all applications. But I've had to change my hook sets to that bait also with the hook. I was a real bad slackliner. Like I wanted to drop and hit them hard. I've learned with the straight shank hook, I lose a lot of fish slacklining. So I've had to really adjust to reeling down and hitting those fish. And going ahead and another thing I was really used to a jig where when you felt the first thump, that means it had it in their mouth. The second thump was when they spitting it out, And so it was quick. And that's one reason I think I got the slacklining so much because I was trying to hit them so quick. Well, I still throw a jig quite a bit, but with soft plastics, they're going to hang on to it a little bit longer. So I've been letting the fish take it a little bit better. I've watched Hackney quite a bit. When they hit his jig, I don't think they're used to Oklahoma because normally it's thunk, you better hit them and get them out. Where Hackney, he kind of lets them have it. I watch him, he goes down and lets them eat the jig a little more than what I would. So, he is.
Also, Hackney's from southern Louisiana, which is where I live now. And you kind of want him, you're kind of hoping he's going to swim out of the cypress knees.
Yeah.
Let the bass take the bait for a walk. I've seen guys do that. Nerves of steel. I can't do nervous and start reeling down like you said. And I want to cross his eyes. And, if it's a 10-incher, he's coming out of the water.
Yeah, exactly. But I've been letting them have it and doing more of a sweep hook set.
Okay.
But I've watched a lot of good flippers over my years, and they set the hook like either straight up at 12 or like 11 o'clock, instead of, because if you, straight up and down to where if you're hitting them sideways, it may pull that bait to the side, if that makes sense. Instead of, because if you're actually something going straight up and down's a lot quicker than something going to the side.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Do you feel that my issue with that is that the slack line, I break a lot of fish off, and I kind of also changed. I'm going to try to adapt going 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock because I kayak fish now. I don't have a boat anymore. But, if I'm sitting down and I'm on the water, my choice is, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I seem to break fish off. Do you break fish off?
Well, I haven't. I have if I don't retie, but I actually changed over a knot difference, and that changed my break off ratio a lot. I'm tying the 3 tag in knot now.
Okay.
Where I used to Palomar.
Yeah.
100%.
Everything's Palomar. Yes.
The only other knot I used was a snail knot, and I only use it for punching. With braid. So going straight to it, I started tying that 3 tag in knot, and that eliminated it for me pretty much. Not saying you're not going to break off because I haven't retied, but even with me snap setting the hook, I quit breaking off. Because
so you're tying direct to braid?
What's that? No, I had never broke braid.
No, are you tying direct to the jig to braid?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was braid. Yeah. Okay. The only time I go braid to fluoro is on a spin rod. I'm not confident enough in myself to tie a knot for me to hit a fish as hard as I do for me to go braid just fluoro on a jig. That's just, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
What about like crystal clear water?
Heck, it don't matter to me.
Okay.
I've caught fish flipping 65-pound, 80-pound braid in water I can see 10 foot in.
Okay.
If I'm flipping cattails, sometimes I'll go to a heavier weight so it drops down in front of them quicker. And if they can tell the difference between my line and that stick sitting next to them, they're too smart for me anyway. So I'm probably not going to catch them. So that's I'm going to go a smaller braid or something if I can. Now flipping laydowns in gin clear water, I'm probably going to go stick with fluoro like I did at Chickamauga. I was flipping fluoro 18 and 20 in the laydowns and stuff like that. Just because those fish are a little more pressured, but if it's got grass or any type of color to it, I'm going to have braid stuck on it.
Pressured fishing. That's funny. Yeah, I would say that Chickamauga is a little more pressured. Yeah.
Yeah, every day. I mean, every day.
It just,
6-8 tournaments a day.
And thank goodness to the people that started this industry. Rest in peace for Ray Scott. But every lake seems to be more and more pressure. There's more people here this year than there was last year.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Everywhere we've went, it's been like that. I mean, I'm sure some of it's got to do with COVID. People still aren't getting to work as much and stuff like that. Yeah. But and then, this younger generation coming up too, there's a lot of them fishing,
There is.
And which is good, that's
absolutely.
good. I mean, I'd rather them be fishing as doing crazy stuff,
Or sitting there like this.
Yeah.
And heck, I still think they're doing that on the boat most of the time too.
Sometimes.
So
I've been accused of that though. I'm sitting there texting my friends when I'm in the boat. Yeah.
So.
We need to figure out if we can hook Xbox up to Live Scope or something like that.
They would be over with.
Ray Marine, you can watch Netflix. You can. Yeah. So that's awesome technology. Those saltwater anglers, they got their kids in the boat or something. Hey, I mean that's good. That's good. It's pretty neat.
Oh yeah, it all goes back to a kid most of the time now, their attention span's about 4 seconds.
Right.
So if they're gonna fish, they get to fish for 30 minutes. Hey, that's 30 more minutes that they're not looking at a box. And then if they want to stay, on the boat and they're watching Netflix or whatever, at least they are outside.
Absolutely.
I tell you though, I've been on the boat with a couple of, probably 2 or 3 times with high school bass club members.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids were intense, man.
Oh yeah.
They were intense. I was impressed, because everybody cuts on that generation, but these particular individuals were every bit as intense as I was when I was in high school. And we didn't have, I don't ever remember playing video games when I was in high school. I was too busy wrestling and fishing and chasing girls, and I didn't have time to play games.
Oh yeah, that's I worked all the time, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I think I didn't play because everybody when I got to college was like, you don't play Call of Duty. I think that was a big deal. And I said no. I said I've never heard of it. I don't have. And I played it a little bit, but I was ready to get back on the water. I didn't play it all day. We had a trout stream beside my college, and I would go trout fishing, just something to get to fish. Because I'd already been to all the ponds that I could around there, so I wanted to be on the water, wanted to be doing something outside. I can't stand being inside. I have a job that's inside, so that kind of defeats the purpose for me sometimes.
Plus, it was just last year when Colgate got Wi-Fi, so
exactly. Well, heck, that's what I was trying to do this deal at my house, and my girlfriend got us Wi-Fi or got me hooked up, and I'm not smart enough to figure anything out. It's a good thing that I can catch a bass every now and then because my
Luke, I just wanted to throw this out there, but you weren't smart enough to figure that out. Smart enough to figure out how to qualify for the Bassmaster Elites and stay on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't sell yourself too short.
No.
You get fortunate in life, and that's what's happened for me. So, very blessed.
Very blessed.
That's a lot of hard work, man. That's a lot of hard work.
It's been there's a lot of ups and downs in it for sure. You question what you're supposed to be doing it because you don't know if, like here at the store, I'm guaranteed to get a paycheck every week. fishing's not guaranteed, and and it's getting more and more expensive to go every day now. You guys know that, everybody does, and so every one of those checks counts. A lot of people think
Absolutely.
you don't. Well, it's just little extra 2,500 here. No, that's a 2,500 is a difference of making it that week or not.
Right.
It's just tough. It's not. I went and talked to a group last night, and one of the kids come up. It was a young group, kids from 9 to 15 or 16 years old. And he sees all these patches and everything, which I'm very blessed for the guys I have that are supporting me.
Yes.
Like, man, you're rich. You can go fishing all the time. But I said, buddy, it's not like that. I said, I'm not to that level. I won't ever be considered rich, in my opinion. I'm rich with what I have. I'm as far as my blessings and all that, but it's not anywhere near rich. That's why I'm still back home working. As soon as the tournament's over with, I drive straight home and I'm back here at the hardware store working or mowing grass or whatever it takes to make that extra dollar to make up the difference. That's what I've got to do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do until hopefully I get to that level where I can just fish.
Right, absolutely.
So where was your second? Oh, go ahead, Brad.
I was just going to say, I love that you're going out and talking to the kids. I love going to these different high school teams and just being a guest speaker there. And that's what I tell them, they're like, oh, you want to be a pro fisherman? Yeah, I'd love to be a pro fisherman. But, I know their ambition, their goals is to be a pro fisherman too. But I tell them, there's other ways I get to fish all the time. And I don't have to worry about, I got to win this tournament to have gas money, to get to the next one, which is the story Fred Urbanis was telling us. There's so much stress that you guys go through, and to be able to tell the kids, be a journalist, be a photographer. There's so many other jobs where you can still go fish all the time.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. When they asked me, what does it take? How would you set yourself up if you were in high school? And I said, if I could do it all over again, I would go to college and get a practical degree like marketing. If you want to be a pro fisherman, you've got to be able to effectively market yourself and your sponsors' products. The biggest part of making money as a pro fisherman.
And that's, not even having to be a pro fisherman, just being at whatever level it is, that you're at. I know guys that are making a heck of a lot more money than me off of YouTube and Instagram or, whatever, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the social media side now is huge. That's a lot of it. You still got to catch them, but if you have that side to you, you're ahead of the game already.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
I got a question on Facebook Live. This is from Jacob. In your experience, do you prefer a plastic that's subtle with a lot of action? Also, the different places you fish, what seems to be the magic color of plastic? And he's an Okie also. Jacob,
Okie?
He's an Okie.
Okay. Well, as far as color choice, I'm very simple. I've got some variations, but green pumpkin purple and either black and blue or a June bug, I can catch them no matter where on that color. I'm going to go to New York, and green pumpkin purple is probably going to be my primary color. That's just, I can see 25 foot up there, and I can still catch them on green pumpkin purple.
Yeah.
In Florida, I like the black and blues, that darker water. As far as bait with a ton of action or not, I don't get into a ton of feeling of that. I stay pretty simple. Like this year, I've won a lot of money on a woolly bug. It's Yum's beaver style bait. It doesn't have a ton of action, but how it falls is a little bit different. It's got the ribs to display some water. And I've also caught them on a Yum dinger. That's what placed me very high in the classic. I ended up getting a 6th place pretty much. Most of my bigger fish came on the dinger. Just wacky.
Luke, when I was a fishing guide for probably 18 years up in Illinois, Yum dinger was my go-to and sometimes the only bait I'd use. I could get the people just even if they had a push button rod, cast it right out there anywhere close to those rocks, and what do I do now? Just let it sink. The less you work that, the more effective it is.
Exactly.
And they'd be sitting there. I'm like, hey, your line's way over there. Why it is? And I wasn't usually that sarcastic, but hey, man, start reeling, and then I think I got you. Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, and that's the action deal. I go with some. I mean, I'm going to have obviously like a dinger tied on, which doesn't have a ton of action, but it's very subtle. All the way up to like a Christie critter, and it's got the legs on the back that are making commotion for the fish. So, and not a ton of action. I'm more of a subtle guy than flipping and pitching. I'm more worried about my rate of fall on my weight size than I am the action.
Wow.
I know the faster that bait's going to fall, of course, it's going to have a little more action and more speed, and it's going to make those fish react quicker. If I'm in a little deeper water, and then I can go with a light, like a 3/16 or quarter, to where if they're really shallow, that it's a lot slower and it just kind of falls down in front of their face. And I'm looking for more of the aggressive fish anyway. That's just my nature is like 5,000 flip, and I need 7 bites. Because I'm going to lose one because I'm just not perfect now. I never have a clean tournament day ever. So
Right.
I need 7 bites at least, and hopefully I put 5 of those 7 in the boat.
Now, when I was wacky rigging, I did it so often when I was guiding that I learned that a slow fall rate, and actually I started downsizing my hooks as painfully small as I could get them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because then it would just kind of float down really slowly. And I saw bass from 10, 15 turn around and come flying over at my dinger. I used to guide a lot of clear water. It was so exciting.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you found too? That a slower fall rate for the?
Yeah. I was actually like at Lake Hartwell. I was catching my fish anywhere from 15 feet or less on the docks. And I'd skip a weightless dinger in there and let it go to the bottom of 15 foot of water. And I'd watch it on live scope most of the time. And you talk about like you're in the classic and I've got a limit, but I need 2 more bites, and they need to be 3 to 6 pounds. And that's what I would do.
I don't think my heart could take that, waiting for a dinger to go down 15 feet. It'd be like, come on. Okay, now it's 3 feet down. Okay, go over here, drink a soda. Okay, now it's 4.5.
So
it was brutal.
Did you rig that with the O-ring, or are you putting the hook through the bait?
I go straight through the bait because I didn't have an O-ring, I guess.
Yeah.
I probably would have liked to went ahead and went the O-ring and went to a smaller hook because I'm still using a number 1 or number 2 with a weed guard on it. So I'm still a pretty big hook.
Yeah.
And I think that may hurt me some on bites just because Hartwell's clean,
Yes.
and to watch you got this glob of stuff in the middle of your bait going down. I think it might have hurt me some, but it didn't hurt me too bad. I mean,
before I moved down south, I used to use a size 4 octopus hook. I got down here and I just could not hold on to these fish because I couldn't. I had to go up to. Then I went to a size 2, and now I'm at a 1/0.
Yeah.
Because I just could not hold on to them, and it's falling faster, but I'm still getting bites. When I went back up north, I used the smaller hooks.
Oh, yeah,
all you have to do up there is just pull them off the rocks, and then you've got them.
Yeah.
Then it's open water. It's not like down here where you have to pull them through.
You got to get them out.
And navigate through the cypress knees. And
oh yeah.
Were the docks at Hartwell? Are they fixed docks that float, or are they like suspended docks like we have here? Because I see all kinds of different docks, and they fish different when they're the stationary docks that go up and down the poles.
Most of the ones there are floating docks. They don't have poles because the lake fluctuates pretty good every year.
Okay.
Like Eufaula, Texoma, most of them are fixated docks.
Okay.
So a lot of these, they could have a foot of water under them. They could have 15 or 20, So it was they just don't have them down there. Everything's cabled and stuff like that. I guess Grand's got some floating docks more or less and some pole, not as many poles, but still kind of has the same system on that cable swivel sink.
Okay. I was just curious. And for the listeners, for Bassin Magazine, Jay didn't say it. It's for the weekend angler. So
I said that at the beginning.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I did at the very beginning.
My bad. Anyway, for those guys, he meant Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, not Lake Eufaula, Alabama. Because I will get comments on it.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's what anytime everybody says, "Where are you fishing?" Eufaula? Oh yeah, in Oklahoma all the time. Not. Yeah. No.
The most shoreline of any other lake or some weird statistic like that. Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That does get people confused. It got me confused at first.
Yeah.
It can be clear one day and muddy the next. I mean,
it must be a reservoir, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's red right now. It's
Yeah.
red.
High.
Which is what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather it be like that all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, I like dirty water. That's you don't have to get over 2 foot of water when it's like that, and that's my dream.
Are you home now?
Yeah, I'm home. I'll be home till Friday.
Okay.
Since Fork was closed, which I didn't make the cut on Sunday, I stayed and did some live, and then I came home and put the boat in the boat barn and set the camper. Just took the weight off the truck's all I did, and I came to work Monday morning. So.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if you were. They had a Lucky Strike had their first annual tournament on Eufaula this weekend. I was just curious if you were down there or where you were. I didn't know.
So. No, I would. I'd like to went and fished it, but heck, I just wasn't home. And
so they did that bass tournament as a catch and release. They used an app and a weigh scale, I believe, and did a catch and release. So, but it's going to be pretty neat. It's going to be pretty neat.
That'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this dirty water. How, as a reservoir muddies up, how do you change the way that you're fishing? This is definitely something a weekend angler needs to know.
Absolutely.
Bigger is better. The bigger the dirtier water, the bigger the Colorado blade I'm gonna have tied on. I like that Booyah Covert that Jason came out with, Christy. It's a dang good dirty water bait. I mean, we got blades for any other tame or color too, but he made that for dirty. I will throw a 5 or a 6 Colorado blade. Obviously I'm gonna throw something brighter colored, chartreuse white or the chartreuse blue, something like that. As far as a jig, I'm gonna have it black and blue. Okay. I don't get to, when it gets dirty, I don't get caught up in colors. I want a dark colored jig and a spinnerbait that looks like a shad, and then I'll probably throw a square bill, and be all XCS, something like that. And I'll jump up to like the 2 series, to get that bigger size bait, just because they got to find it, in which they can find a little minnow the size of your pinky nail, but I'm going to make sure they know my stuff is in there. I'm going to get their attention.
So are you going to look for cleaner water when you're fishing a dirty reservoir?
I mean, if there is, like, if it just now came up, like initially, like we just got some big rains. If it initially just came up, I'm going to try to find the cleaner water. But once everything stabilizes, it won't matter to me. I'm just going to go where I can find them. So whether if it's got a little bit of stain or if it's a whole lot of stain, the thing is with a whole lot of stain, those fish are going to stay shallower a lot longer than what it will with that little bit of cleaner water. So if I can see a foot to less, that allows me to stay up shallow, less than 3 foot of water. It doesn't matter if it's 105 or if it's 35. I can still catch them out of shallow water that way.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know bigger baits in the mud. It makes sense to me, but I never would have. I just throw in the same spinner bait, but I didn't think about upping that blade.
Oh yeah, I like a thump. I like them to know what's going on, and I've 3/4 ounce, with the number 6 or something like that. That don't hurt my feelings none at all.
If you're staying shallow, are you going to keep that? Are you going to up that jig to a half ounce of, 5/8 something, and still throw it shallow?
If I'm fishing, and normally when it's dirty, those fish are going to bite instantly. Most of the time. I mean, there are going to be times whenever you're going to have to slow down, but I'm going to be making as many flips as I possibly can. If I'm flipping rocks, I can stay with a half ounce almost across the board everywhere I'm at. I'll just up my chunk size.
Okay.
Now, if I'm wanting a little bit faster fall, I can obviously go down to like just a little bit smaller, maybe just a crawl. But if I want that big profile and something that's going to not say if it's a half ounce, I can make it fall like a 3/8 when I put that yum crawl chunk on the back because it's a big chunk, and that way I can more feather that stuff in, but I still have the weight that I can make accurate flips. With a smaller jig, it's harder to put it in those bushes and stuff. So if you still got that half ounce, it can go ahead and fall to the bottom, but you're still getting that rate of fall, and you can still make you flips a lot more efficiently.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so you like to throw the yum dinger. Would you throw that in extremely dirty water?
I don't do it as much in extremely dirty water. I want something with some type of action to it. I throw a jig with a rattle 98% of the time. I mean, that's in my mind. I have to have a rattle on a jig. If I put a crawl in there and my skirt doesn't have a rattle deal on it, it blows my mind. Like I've got to do something different. That's just a confidence thing.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
so I normally, like I said, if it's dirty, I like a jig or something that's got some bite to it, if that makes sense.
it makes sense.
Something that those fish can see, can pick up quicker. Not saying you can't catch them. I know guys that can catch them on a dinger, in that dirty water. Heck, I haven't done as much just because my confidence is throwing a jig, or throwing that big spinner bait. So I haven't done as much. And like I said, they do. I mean, I've got my butt kicked out of the back of the boat by a guy throwing a mini brush hog that was watermelon red, and you couldn't see my black and blue jig 3 inches under the water, and he's catching him out of the back, and I'm thinking there's no way, and I'm up here just pounding away, and he's donk. I mean, you learn real quick. You got to be doing something. But
now, those of you weekend anglers tuning in, I want to tell you, we've had a lot of these Elite Series guys on, and Luke just used the word that almost every one of them has used. That's confidence.
That's where I was going to ask. How big of confidence do you use in a tournament, and how would you tell a weekend angler how important it is?
This little setup right here, that Amistad, has been on my front deck every single tournament this year, and I have used it probably not in the classic, but as far as Harris chain, Palatka, Santee Cooper, even at Fork, I have caught probably 85 or 90% of my fish on that setup.
Wow.
I mean, and that's not heard of on the lake.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't do it. There's other guys, but for me, normally you've got to do something different. But I haven't. I mean, I have stuck with my guns. It had the Harris chain. I just screwed up. I had a decent practice in the area, and I left it because I was running a long ways. I was locking into another lake, and it was taking forever. And the wind blew out the wrong way, and I didn't have confidence to go do something else. But I still caught him on a woolly bug and a bad mammoth, and the first one or two though in Florida, I caught some on a woolly bug, but it was primarily with a dinger. Those eel fish or whatever down there, it looks just like a dinger, so those fish hate those. So I primarily did that. But when we got to Chickamauga and Santee, I had the exact same setup. I mean, I had 4 of them on my deck, and they just had different weight sizes. I was throwing that woolly bug, and then we got the Fork, and I didn't catch them on the woolly bug because I was out a little bit deeper, and I was wanting a little bit different type of fall on the trees that I was flipping, so I was throwing a Christie critter, and it's a little bit bigger profile bait too. So those fish, you can still catch little ones on it, but my quality was going up when I was catching them on it.
So your confidence isn't just, I feel like this bait is a good bait. I caught them on this before, I'm going to throw it. It's all the way down to the rod and reel and line and setup. You have confidence all the way across, and you catch fish because of that.
I think that's a lot of it. I mean, I look at a lot of guys' decks and stuff, and I'll just use Brian New. when you look at his deck and I walk up, I'm like, dude, I don't even have that many rods in my boat total. And he's got that many stacked on his deck. And I don't, my mind doesn't work like that. You know, my confidence, I got confidence in about 4 baits, like 100%. You know, I'm not as good with other baits, and that may be why I don't have as much confidence in them. And I know that's why it is. You know, I've grown up flipping and pitching woolly bug, Christie critter, and a jig my whole life, you know, and those are the things I have confidence to pick up and go do. So, and I've kind of found on these Elite Series guys, if you don't have confidence, something's going to happen, and it's not good.
Right.
You know, they're going to take your money. I mean, that's just that is to it. So, and, you know, and I'm still new. You know, I'm still having to learn. I learn every day. When I get on the water, I'm hard headed about some things. But when I first got on here, and I said it before, I didn't have a spinning rod. I had to learn how to tie a braid to fluoro off of YouTube because I didn't know how to do it. Never heard of a uni knot. I heard of the trilene knot that I didn't. That's not what it was called for me.
Right.
I only tied the Palomar knot. You know, I've learned different things that way, and just talking with people around. I mean, I've learned stuff from kids that are 7 or 8 years old, and I've learned stuff from guys that are 80 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's something. I'm not too good to talk to anybody. You know, and I don't ever want someone to feel that way toward me. Just like I watched Aaron Martins. He's a prime example. I watched him talk to a kid that was like 6 years old for an hour one day of why he rigged his worm that way. Y'all know Aaron knew how to catch them regardless.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So it was neat to watch him. And he learned. You could tell, I mean, he was intrigued by this kid.
Wow.
So it was cool. You know, and I mean, you kind of, you watch that stuff, you kind of take that to heart because you're thinking, this stud duck or fisherman is talking to a kid and he's learning. So,
Right.
I mean, and, you know, like I said, I've learned. You know, like I said, I talked to a bunch of kids last night. They were young, and I enjoyed every second of it. I mean, they were hyped up wanting to talk about fishing, and, you know, they went from jug lines to crappie fishing to trout fishing to catching marlins, I think. But it was fun. You know, it was enjoyable to watch those kids and see them interested in fishing, and I took away a few things from it.
Yeah, yeah. And to have the open mindset of, you know, I fished with Chuck 20 times. You know, I'm in Tulsa. Yeah, we have fish up here. I fish grand, you know, whatever. To me, that's a different fishery. Those big fish, and to go down there and learn something every single time I'm on the water. I mean, and for you to have an open mindset of, you know, I'm going to learn something today. It's awesome. And not even just at your level, all the way down to, you know, a guy that gets to fish one time a year.
Oh yeah, and, you know, and that's the thing about it, you know. And don't get me wrong, I'm blessed to be where I'm at, 100% blessed. But I take from what I've learned on the Elite Series, and me and my dad fish together still some, not like we used to. Used to fish 25 tournaments a year together, and now it's 5, if that, you know. But it's kind of fun to go back, and I can even tell he can even watch me, and he knows that it's completely different than what I was last year, the year before, and how I'm looking at this lake and stuff. And we're going to fish the same lakes we fished our whole lives together.
Yeah.
You know, and well, my whole life, you know, kind of had me around for him. So it's neat to do that and to use different tactics on your home lake. I mean, you know, you can take back what you learned at McGee to go to, you know, to Grant.
Right.
And,
right.
You know, and it's something you'd be like, there's no way I'd ever do that. And you try it, you catch a few fish, and you're like, yeah, this might be all right.
You're so right. I learned what I learned. I took what I learned at McGee, and that next weekend, I went to Kentucky Lake, and I can kill them on Kentucky Lake. I can hang with anybody out there. I can catch fish on that lake. But you're right. I mean, it's, you know, and I told Jay this a couple of podcasts ago. There's nothing that can compare to time on the water.
Yes. There's no substitute for it.
No, yeah. It doesn't matter if you get to get off of work and you get to go to the pond for 30 minutes. You can learn how to throw a dinger, wacky rigged or Texas rigged or weightless or whatever. You can learn that. You might not think it's anything, but whenever I was getting my teeth kicked in by a wacky rig because I didn't know what the heck it was, that was whenever something happened. It may have been COVID, and they called it off, and I said, I went straight to, I mean, I came home and had to work the whole time. But on the weekends, we would go to some ponds because all the tournaments shut down pretty much. And we have some, ponds. They're 5 to 30 acres that I can get on. I took a spinning rod and that was it. I said, I am going to learn to throw a wacky rig. And just so happens it was spring and I caught the fire out of it. And then that gave me confidence. Learning to setting the hook on a fish with a wacky worm's different than, setting the hook with a bait caster.
Yeah.
It's very something just little simple like that. It's taught me, it's helped me a lot. And that was fishing the farm pond.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff I do when I was younger. I would one year, I'm going to learn crankbaits this year. That's all I'm going to fish when I have the opportunity to fish for myself.
Yeah.
So I throw crankbaits on the rocks, and I start throwing crankbaits at the trees. That's how I got confidence in crankbaits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, time on the water. I mean, I fish less now than what I did before I got on the leads, which kind of sucks. But
right.
Because I got to work when I'm home, and whenever before I had my lawns, I'd mow my 33 yards in 3 days, and I was fishing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was just I was getting some time, and that made me a lot better. I mean, I knew what the fish were doing, where they were going, what's going to happen, and now it's like come home, drive to the next one. I'll be in Tennessee next week, and I'm going to get to fish maybe Sunday.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to go and fish Friday, Saturday, Sunday somewhere. It doesn't have to be, just in that vicinity area, just to kind of know what the fish are doing, because we just left Fork that I caught fish that I think were still on beds. And, it just now got hot. You know what I mean? It wasn't, it was like I was wearing short or sweatpants 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden we're sweating to death. And now we're back in sweatshirts again today because it's 60 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So, there's still fish shallow. So I know there's probably going to be some up there somewhat shallow. But it would be nice to go from knowing what kind of stage those fish are in. But then every lake's different on the Tennessee River, Pickwick's going to be different than Gunnersville and Watts Bar or whatever is up through there. So it's, it might be good. Give me a couple of days off to relax from the sun beating that we had for the last week. I hadn't wore shorts all year long, so it was fun.
I don't take my shorts off. Well, it doesn't matter.
Brad, do you have any other questions?
Let me look. I was looking. Nope. Jacob, thumbs up. So that's good.
Okay. Well,
any viewers want to ask any questions? We've got quite a bit of viewers. So if there's any questions that anybody wants to ask Luke, now's your time.
Sure.
Anytime really during our podcast, we'll eventually get to it. Jay, does Cajun Rob have a question?
No, he does not have any questions this time. I think Rob must still be working.
Oh. Let's talk about your sponsors for just a few minutes. Let's start with Falcon.
Yeah, I've been a Falcon rod guy for several years. I've sold them my store. It's just something I wanted to be a part of them when I first got on the elites and stuff. Things just weren't lining up, and everything kind of hit this year. It kind of happened. It was late when it happened, like right before season started. So it turned in. It's been a really good deal. What's really cool about them is I go off Interstate 40 pretty much wherever we go. So if I'm like Friday, I'm going to sneak up there and I can sneak up to get my rods, walk in the door and get my rods. I can order them and they can send them to me, but it's kind of cool. I can walk up there and go in and talk to the guys up there, and you kind of see the aspect of what goes on. And I love that, they're not, they're a big company, but
it's right there.
It's right there, and which I think I want to go up there. I want to try to get some pictures stuff of actually in there and stuff, and kind of show people that, they sell a ton of rods, but it's not just this ginormous factory like I guess you'd think. A lot of people think, which I like more of that about it too. It's kind of more personal. If I want to go get a rod done, something's broke, I can get fixed. They can do it right there. So that's pretty cool about that.
Yeah, they can repair them there. You got the Falcon tackle bags in there. They got all kinds of apparel in there. and stickers and all that. So real fast, I graduated from Broken Arrow High School. I was on a job out program, and my first job was at Falcon Rods. And I worked there for 2 years. John Beck was the owner. You know, he passed it on to Chris. I know him very, very well. I know a bunch of the people up there. I love Falcon. I've always been pro Falcon just because I feel they got me started in this industry. You know, whether that's how I got started or not, it was cool because I was a kid and, I got to meet, cool people. And Mark Davis was on their major pro staff guy at that time. And he was always in there. And a guy that owned Gene LaRue Bates was always in there. Vic Vreeland was always in. So it was cool as a kid to see these people. So that's why I knew you're sponsored by Falcon. So you can go on with your other sponsors. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a question here. Actually, Cajun Rob just got done mowing his lawn, he told me.
Oh.
The best way, he wants to know the best way to fish changing conditions during the day, i.e. a cold front is moving in.
A cold front's moving in. I'm going to stick with moving baits just because the fish have got to be active. Your things are changing, and when things are changing, those fish are going to be active. They should be, where they're, and then two, that's before, during, and even right after, you're still okay with moving baits, I think. I'm going to be fishing shallow because that's just what I like to do. I'm going to be covering water. And then I really think this happens to me too. We more worry about what's happening above us than what's happening below us. If it's colder and crazy and that water's still 55, 60 degrees, they're not feeling that. Now, it's going to take 2 or 3 days. Your initial foot or so is going to change. But those fish in 6, 7, 8, 9 foot of water don't have that change yet. And it will happen. But I've caught myself doing that too. When we were at Chickamauga this year, it snowed. Oh. And guys were still catching them off the bed. They literally caught, and I had a couple of fish on bed. I didn't know they were on beds until the day of the tournament. Heck, I fished through there and didn't even think about checking them because I was like, there's no way that front pushed them off. It was 35 degrees last night. Well, I'll be dang. Guy said, no, my fish locked on beds whenever it got colder. I'm like, that's the exact opposite of what they're supposed to happen, So, but when it goes to changing conditions, I get shallow, pick up my moving baits, and cover as much water as I possibly can.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've got, are you sponsored by Yum? They stopped making one of the best go-to colors in Woolly Bug, which was black neon. Can you ask them to make it again?
Well, I can see what I can put a bug in someone's ear. But yeah, I've been with the Booyah Yum since got about my second or third tournament, I guess, when I got on the leads, and they've stuck by me, and they're gonna have to run me out the door before I go anywhere away from them because they've been so good to me, and I try to stay with what I use. Yeah. Obviously all of us have some baits that, certain companies don't make that we have, that we like. But I can honestly say about 90% of probably 95% of my stuff in my boat is Booyah, Yum, Headin'. There's several different ones that are under the
It's got a lot of brands. Yeah.
So yes. I'm able to use what I've used my whole life. Yeah. And you can afford most of stuff too, so it's kind of nice also.
Close to home, and in your local Walmart, you can pick up a Bassin magazine, pick up all your Pradco, spooks and all that, and go catch fish.
Yeah. And the thing about Yum products for the weekend angler, they're priced reasonably.
Yes, very. Yeah. I sell this all like a lot of well, you got some stuff in your store. I say, yeah. You got any good stuff? I'm like, guys. Stuff on that shelf is what I use. In case I might get low, I might need to go run grab me some stuff. So the stuff I actually put on my floor in the store is what I use. Like you say, a lot of their stuff, like a pack of woolly bugs or dingers, is $3.50, $3.99, $2.99, somewhere in there, compared to others that are allowed to be $6, $7, $8, $9 a bag.
Absolutely, that's why I said they're reasonably priced.
If you're a new angler, and even me, I've been fishing my whole life. At Walmart, on the bottom of the shelf, there's a Pradco. There's 4 or 5 different Pradco boxes. You've got dingers in there. You got crankbaits in there. You got Zara puppies in there. Whatever you want to learn how to do, you can buy for $1 from that bottom box. $1.50 at my Walmart. You know, so there's reasonably priced baits out there, and those aren't overstocked. They're not junk. There's a Zara puppy in there. There's one specific one. I'm not even going to say which color. I buy every single one of them because they're super hard to find, but that's a confidence deal. And
Confidence, yeah.
You can spend less money and catch fish.
And with the yum dingers, watermelon seed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even the kits. You know, if someone doesn't know what they need to throw a Christie critter, for instance, their kit actually has some really good colors in it.
Yeah.
They have the hooks, the weights, everything that you need. You're set up to go. And I mean, don't get me wrong.
The instructions are on the back of that box.
Exactly. There's kits that I've looked at that it's like, this is trash, guys. Come on. You know, but Booyah and Yum have went in there and Head and stuff. They went in and made some good boxes, which they talked to us about it. They asked, hey, what do we need in there? What are guys actually using?
You know,
and they put them in there. So I mean, why sell something that's not, or why put something on shelf that's not going to sell when you can put some product out there and they're going to be used?
Yeah.
The thing about Hedden, my dad used that back in the 60s. He told me that Hedden is the best company there is. He was young,
if they buy that kit and they go catch fish, when that kit's over, that's what they're buying again. If they buy junk and they don't catch fish, you're not selling anything.
Exactly, 100%.
You know, and you're going to build confidence too, because man, I got 35 fish off that kit.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's all you're looking for, you know, especially beginning angler. I mean, I know people that bought it that are guys that fish a lot, and because you know you get more bang for your buck there, something on most of it, and you get 3 or 4 variety colors that you can use in clear water, dirty water, you know, whatever. So you're set. You know, it's a good starter pack, especially you know at Christmas present, birthday present, graduation present. You know, you can use it. You know, you're going to use it. It's not just a bunch of. You know, and you don't know how to buy for a fisherman, go get you a Booyah or a Yum kit, and you know you're going to be okay with that.
Right.
I see that you're wearing a gill hat.
I'm with, to me, one of the best companies that apparel companies are out there, in my opinion. I mean,
a lot of their stuff.
Gil has got one heck of a rain suit. First off, I mean, up and down the board on the rain suit's really good, but it's one of the best rain suits I've ever had. They're not $4,000, you know.
I can tell you, if I can jump in here for a second, I can wear my Gill parka in the middle of the summer around Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Anybody who's been down here knows
that's not.
You don't wear parkas in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, even in January.
Exactly. Now, and you know, and they've got, you know, they've come out. They got sun shirts. They've got, you know, all the skin protection type stuff for the summer, the gloves, the
shoes,
hats, you know, and they started to come out some more stuff that got the expel on it that, you know, if you get blood or guts, anything like that, it goes right off of it, which is pretty good because
that's nice.
And you get the sun shirts and stuff, and man, you pay good money for this stuff. I mean, you know, no matter what company it is, you're paying pretty good money for everything. And you get blood on it, and it's over with. And you're like, well, hell, that sucks. You know, you don't want to wear anymore. Yeah. So I mean, so you're set on that, and they've been great to work with. I mean, they care about their product. Like I've never been around a company that cares so much about their product and wants it to succeed. I mean, they talk to me. I talk to the you know the upper management. They call me and they say, hey, Luke, what do you need out of us as a fisherman? You know, and that to me says a lot. You know, they can just put stuff out, what they think, but they want to know, like, what do you guys need? You know, they're not one, you know, they're in the sailing business big time.
Right.
And you don't have junk gear out there. You know, you can't. You know, if you get wet, you're miserable because you're in the ocean. You know, it's not going to be fun.
Well, the sailing business, you can die if you're 25 miles offshore and you get wet and it's 40 degrees outside.
Exactly. So you take the technology they had there and you put it into us, that we're being hard on it, but not anything like they're being hard on stuff.
Right.
I mean, I have the same rain suit I got 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still using it. The water still beads up off of it. I don't get wet. So, I mean, it's not just 1 year and I get rid of my rain suit. No, I'm still using that rain suit.
Yeah.
I got a new one this year just because, like, Luke, you need to get a new rain suit. You're old. I was like, well, I'm going to keep it and I'll use it when I'm pond fishing, or something like that. And I got a new one, but they got quality stuff, from top to bottom. And that's impressive to me. And there'll be another company that's going to have to push me out the door to get me to go, because it's hard to leave something that has worked so well for me. And
that you believe in
like
it.
That,
yep.
It's great.
Yep. No. What other sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Man, I can't say enough about Sunline. I love it. I've had very, very good success with it. And also my dealer, Horizon Track Marine, you want to talk about a company that takes care of a guy. I mean, I got with Aaron back, it's been several years ago, and he takes care of business just like I would. I've had stuff break, and he'll be like, hey, you want me to send it to you? I'll set it outside, just swing by, get it. How much I owe you? Get it, make sure it works, and call me later.
Yeah.
If I ever had an issue, he takes care of me. I mean, he's been dang good to me. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better dealer. And plus, he's putting on a tournament this weekend, 2-day tournament. So if anybody's around Dardanelle, you're going to come in and register Friday night. He's got some pretty cool giveaways and stuff he's going to do for it. I think he's got live scope he's giving away.
Oh, wow.
So might be something to come by and check that out.
Yeah.
I'll be there Friday evening. I don't know if Fred, he might be there. I can't remember if he'll be there or not. But we'll be there Friday night, and then the tournament Saturday and Sunday, which I'd like to stay and fish it, but I've got to be at Pickwick. So I probably don't want to get my teeth kicked in there on Dardanelle by the home sticks, but
man,
I'll swing in down there. Now, it's a good deal. I can't remember it. He's paying out a pretty good penny for first place. So everybody around there will be able to tag that along and push it to him, because it's a good tournament. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just weekend tournaments, a lot of fun. I enjoy going to stuff like that. He's been good to me, and I'm backing people that have backed me, and I've been with them for years. And having that loyalty and stuff to me is, because they've been very loyal to me, I'm going to be loyal to them.
That's what it's all about right there.
Oh, yeah. Just like Phoenix. You'd have to drag me out of a Phoenix. I mean, I couldn't ask. I've been with them for several years, and
they really stepped up the game for the consumer all the way to you guys. They have really put together a boat that is quality instead of just, hey, we're another boat manufacturer.
Exactly.
And they look cool.
Yeah, that's what I finally got to take the wrap off of mine from last year, and I actually gave my boat from last year to my dad. And
cool.
I have the same color scheme as I did last year, but I don't ever get to see it. It's always wrapped by the time I pick it up. So it's kind of neat to walk in like, hey, that wet boat's pretty, but this mine is wrapped up and stuff, which is fine. I like mine being wrapped up, cause get to support those guys that support me. I mean, buddy Thomas Madden, he's done all my insurance for several years. Went to school with him. He's always taken care of me. Mercury, Power Pole, you got to have them. And one of my buddies, he came up this year. He's Russell's Auction Service. He does a lot of stuff around here. I've done business with him. I've known him since he came to Colgate, and he's been a good guy to work with also.
I need that. I don't have a pen right here. Russell's Auction Service. Okay.
Yeah, Russell's Auction Service. Yeah.
Russell's Auction Service. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to the official magazine of the Weekend Angler.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having me, and we'll be talking to you soon again, I hope.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, we'll bring you back. I'm going to go off of Facebook. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
And I'm going to go off of YouTube Live.